assume that this is an Aaron Rodgers-related question, but here it is, Graziano. Yeah. Which quarterback lost the most games as a starter in his final season?
Yeah, I guess I can't say Rodgers. He's not on a team right now, so maybe that was his final season. I don't have a good guess. I don't like this question. Most of these guys don't play enough games in their final season. Like, it can't be Eli Manning. He only played like 3-4 games. I'm just going to guess Testaverde. Oftentimes, Testaverde fits these kinds of questions. Vinny Testaverde.
Okay, so the question is awful. The answer is even worse. The answer is Steve Spurrier, who started 12 games for the winless Bucks in 1976. Wait, can we get a shot of here? Like, this is a disgrace. We're not having this.
Unnecessary. What, are you going to challenge?
Yeah,
Want to challenge that? This is unnecessary.
Horrible.
It's unnecessary nerdiness happening on this play. You got to be kidding me with.
It's a terrible. It's a terrible.
We got to get him out. We got to get him out.
Watch out for the
got to get out.
Watch out for the left.
Get him out. No, just get him out.
Yeah, I got the front. Get the back.
Get him out. This is how we do it in New York. This is how we do it in New York.
This guy's happy.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Steve Spurrier won the Heisman.
This is not it.
The camera out of the way.
The camera's in the way.
This is not it.
All right, we don't want to fight the camera. Go back.
Okay. Yes. That was not planned. So let's.
No.
Yeah. Let the record show.
I didn't like the question, Greeny, but I can't condone beating up nerds. I can't.
No,
that's not cool with me. I
gotta say,
have a problem with that.
We discussed them possibly having some kind of punishment. I'm not sure that was what we had anticipated. Okay, fair enough. Let's get to the football conversation. That shouldn't even count in the scoring. Here we go. ESPN's NFL Football Power Index projections were released today. So we'll play either or with Graziano and Lewis, because these projections tell a story. This is what our analytics say. According to our group, we are headed for another Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl. The Chiefs have a 19% chance to make the Super Bowl, highest of any team in the AFC. Eagles have a 20% chance to make it, highest of any team in the NFC. So here's the question I'm going to ask you, Lewis. If I'm telling you right now that one but not both of those teams are going back to the Super Bowl this year, which one would you be predicting?
I'm going to say the Chiefs. And look, I think, Greeny, that they nailed their draft. I really do. Look, when we left New Orleans this year, we knew that the Chiefs had to do something with their offensive line. I think the Chiefs got the best offensive lineman in the draft as long as Josh Simmons is healthy to start the season, or at some point during the season. He was the best offensive lineman in the draft. He was killing people before he got hurt, week 7, I believe, this year. He only played 7 games at Ohio State. If he can lock down the left side of that offensive line, along with the fact that they draft Jalen Royals, who out of Utah, or Utah State, I believe. He's a guy who looks fantastic, a guy who's another addition. On the defensive side of the football, they draft Omar Norman-Lott, Aston Gelati out of Louisville. I mean, these guys, they're bringing in a lot of young dudes to this football team to really make another run at it. And have you seen Patrick Mahomes lately? Have you seen the guy? You want to talk about scorched earth? He's coming out fire in 25, man. I think this football team's going to be better, man. I really do think it's going to be better. They're going to be right back in it again out there in Santa Clara for the next Super Bowl.
What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, look, I would say Chiefs. There's more body of work here. The Eagles are fantastic. The Chiefs dominate the teams in their division. They have the clearest path to get back there. I just feel like, the Eagles have lost some depth on the defensive side of the ball. The analytics, what they can't predict is what's going to go wrong, like what's going to go terribly wrong, and none of us can. And if the Eagles suffer an injury, key injury on defense, it might be harder to overcome that this year. What they did last year was incredible. It's just very difficult to repeat it.
All right, let me get to the next item here that I found interesting in these FPI numbers. 2 former LSU quarterbacks leading teams with very similar odds to win their divisions. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, a 31% chance to win the NFC East. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, 29% chance to win the NFC North. Both of them are the second favorites. Graziano, if you had to pick one of those 2 LSU quarterbacks to win his division this year, which one you got?
I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels. I think he's legit. I think they've improved the group around him in terms of the offensive line. I think Deebo Samuel will obviously be a helper. The continuity on the coaching staff, so critical. first year to second year. Washington could have lost a bunch of key coaches last year off the success they had. They did not. Another season with Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn running that defense. I think Washington is for real. Plus, somebody besides the Eagles has to win the East. I don't make the rules.
That's exactly right. 21 years it's been since a team repeated. And then, Lewis, let me give you the third one here that I found interesting. The Cowboys, and we touched on this earlier, are given just a 31% chance to make the playoffs. That's the fourth lowest of any team in the NFC. They're ahead of only the Giants, Saints, and Panthers. Meanwhile, in the AFC, the Steelers have a 38% chance to make the playoffs. That ranks them 8th in the AFC. So right now, I'm asking you, one of those two legendary powerhouse teams, and not both, is going to make the playoffs this year. You got the Steelers or the Cowboys? Lewis?
It's the Cowboys for me. And it's simply because of the quarterback situation. And I know we have talked, or I have talked, and I think overall the discourse surrounding Dallas has been kind of split as far as whether or not we think they're going to make, real tangible progress this year. I think they're going to be better in Pittsburgh. I think they have a much better chance of making the playoffs than Pittsburgh because the quarterback is better. I mean, it's as simple as that. They have made some key additions on the perimeter, obviously with George Pickens, who they took away from Pittsburgh, and having CeeDee Lamb. And the offensive line in Dallas is going to be better than what Pittsburgh's is. So, look, this is really easy for me. And, and I know the people in Pittsburgh right now are sitting there thinking, look, Will Howard can hold down the fort. Mason can hold down the fort. Not when you're talking about this, man. Not when we're talking about playoff contention, Super Bowl contention. It's just not good enough there. Dallas has got a leg up on them significantly as far as this discussion is concerned.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, never going to dismiss Mike Tomlin's ability to get a substandard looking roster into the playoffs. He's done it many times, but Dallas is going to be better, I think. Obviously, getting Dak Prescott back from injury, they're getting a lot of key guys back from injury on the defensive side of the ball as well. The offensive line, losing Zach Martin is tough, but they've been anticipating that and they've been drafting for it. So I think Dallas. I understand where the analytics is coming from. The two teams that were in the NFC Championship game last year are in Dallas's division. That is tough to overcome. But I do think they'll be an improved team over last year, and I think a lot of people who are looking at it are underestimating how improved they can be.
Yeah, Graz, you said it earlier, and I like the way you put it. In an offseason where everyone was desperately trying to get better at quarterback, the Cowboys are, for all intents and purposes, adding Dak Prescott. No one is getting better at quarterback more than they are.
Xin chào các bạn nha. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn căn rán, đó là cái quạt. Bây giờ mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn căn rán này.